What if Anakin learned to control his emotions from Kit Fisto? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The Council is in near chaos as they observe the galaxy map, hearing reports of attacks all across the Outer Rim as the new CIS threat emerges in force. They strike across dozens of systems and put the Republic on the back foot. Even with the new clone army, the Jedi struggle to formulate a response. It will take weeks to properly organize their new army with their Jedi generals, and weeks to march them out. The meeting drags through the evening, and when at last they adjourn for the night, Kit Fisto is exhausted. But he doesn't just feel his fatigue, but that of the Jedi around him. None are more prominent than young Skywalker. He can sense the weariness in him, mixed with anxiety and grief. There's much of that now with how many Jedi died on Geonosis, but it feels more personal and compels Kit to look further into it. Knocking at the door, he waits a moment before coming inside and invites himself in.
How are you faring, young Skywalker? It has been an eventful campaign on Geonosis, especially for you. I appreciate your concern, Master. I am okay, I suppose. I'm just tired from everything that's happened recently. So much is changing in the galaxy, and it's hard to keep up with. So many lives were lost, and so many more will die soon. Indeed, but I suspect that it isn't just the war you were referring to.
Anakin doesn't answer, but his silence is enough. Kit is about to step out and give the boy his peace, but as he prepares to depart, he sees the despondency growing, and the Jedi Master cannot bear to leave him like this. So instead, he casually asks if Anakin is a fan of pod racing. An hour later, the two find themselves in a pod racing track in one of the seedier parts of Coruscant. It is probably strictly against regulation, but Kit Fisto sees how happy Anakin is watching the race and decides to keep silent on it.
Are we allowed to be here? This doesn't seem like the type of thing a responsible Jedi Master would want me doing. Good thing I'm not your master, then. Master, no one knows about this, but I recently learned my mother died. I know the Jedi shouldn't have attachments, but... I have no idea how you found out about that, and I will not pry into it. If I do, I would be obligated to report it. As far as I know, you simply learned of this from the holofeed. But more to the point, I'm truly sorry for your loss, young one. To lose someone so close to you, especially when you haven't seen her in so long, it must be terrible. Loss is loss, and no one can blame you for grieving the loss of your mother. Believe it or not, even Mace Windu cares for his mother.
That sounds like crazy talk to me.
It is, but more to the point, it isn't about what you feel. Emotions exist regardless of how hard the Jedi try to keep them in. What matters is how you manage them and rise above them. Grief is natural, but only because it becomes a hindrance if you let it become a millstone around your neck, young one. That is what leads you to doubt and anger. And that is how you fall to the dark side. But how do I control it? I want to get over it and rise above my emotions. But each time I do, I feel it pulling me back. Like I have no choice but to feel this way. We always have choice, Skywalker. But if you truly feel lost, then let me guide you.
Days later, Master Fisto announces that he will take Anakin under his tutelage to train him on how to deal with his emotions. For many masters, they have seen how guided by emotions the young Jedi is and are concerned with him. So having a Jedi Master like Fisto help him is a great relief. They are more than happy to accept it and let them work together. They start in the lower levels of the Jedi Temple, where there are heated pools for Jedi to swim and meditate. This is Kit Fisto's favorite part of the temple, and he takes him down there. Taking a deep breath, he takes in the water, but also the force flowing around them. And when he does, the current of the pool seems to move a bit faster. The chamber is dim, lit only by the filter of light shimmering through a shallow pool at the center of the floor. Reflections ripple across the water, soft and shifting, like breath. Steam curls in lazy spirals from the water's surface. He invites Anakin to swim with him and enjoy the water. As they are in the pools, he has him float there, closing his eyes and feeling the energy. That is the Force, and it is what holds him up as he floats.
Jedi view the Force as a vast ocean. This is true enough, but they mistake the water for the ocean. They wish to tame it, to leave it stagnant and bound. That is not the nature of the ocean. Water must flow freely. It must be calm, but it also must have room to flow and to show its currents. To try and hold it back will create problems. For if it cannot flow, the ocean rages. So tell me, how do you feel? They shouldn't have died. They died. And now your mind plays the mission over and over again, changing the curve and thinking that it might take you to the point you wanted to go. So what? I'm just supposed to accept it? Let it go? That's the Jedi answer? No. You don't let go. You let it pass through, like a current. You feel it, but you don't fight it. I'm not like you. No, you're not. You feel deeply. Truthfully, I admire that about you. You were told to be numb, but you never lost track of your heart. The ocean is deepest where it's still. Your anger, your grief. Acknowledge them. Don't let them command you. Let them move through you, then away.
Anakin closes his eyes. He breathes in slow, uneven. The sound of water is all around him. He listens. For once, he doesn't try to fix the moment.
I see her sometimes. My mother. In dreams. Sometimes she's smiling. Sometimes she's screaming. Dreams are echoes. But you're still here. Breathing. Living. Smile when you can. Not because nothing hurts, but because everything does. And you're still choosing to live. The galaxy brings you pain. But it will never, ever have the right to take away your ability to smile.
Something shifts in Anakin's face. Not a full smile, not yet, but the tension eases. His brow smooths. He uncrosses his arms. He dips his fingers into the water. It's warm. Soon he finds himself swimming, not worrying or thinking of anyone, just enjoying the water. But as he gets up, he must return to reality as the war rages on. However, Anakin emerges with a new attitude. It seems like his time with Kit Fisto helped him, as he appears calmer and more collected. When he is deployed for the front lines, Anakin is a natural general. He isn't afraid to lead his troops from the front or think outside the box. This gives the 501st a reputation for getting the job done, no matter how difficult it might be. But he also doesn't let himself lose sight of what exactly he is fighting for. Anakin sees the horrors of war, not just as a general, but as a peacekeeper. He sees how it affects the people around him, and his goal shifts from defeating the droids to protecting them. He watches as people around him suffer, their emotions raging through him like a storm. At one time, it would have been overwhelming, but now Anakin rides that storm and uses it to guide himself forward. It reminds him of whom he is fighting for, and he works to turn that fear into hope instead. Kit Fisto continues to remind him that pain is a natural part of the galaxy, and that the only way to alleviate it is with a smile and the love of those around him. Anakin visits those affected, tending to their wounds and caring for the dying. He does what he can to alleviate their suffering. He tries to cheer them up and reminds them that there is still someone who cares about their well-being. He encourages his troops to care for them and treat those people with respect, so they remember what they're fighting for. It is not without difficulty, as Anakin must face their hardship and pain, but these efforts help the young Jedi make peace with the pain. Though Anakin throws himself into his job as a general, he does not forget his role as a peacekeeper either. Soon enough, Anakin wins fame and renown throughout the galaxy for his compassion and bravery. This takes him to multiple different battlefields, including Jabeam, where the 501st face off against the CIS forces. They march through slog where the ground has been churned to mud beneath their feet. Explosions echo in the distance, but the worst of the battle is past. Smoke rises from Separatist wreckage. The twisted remains of tanks and droids litter the battlefield. The people of Jabeam peek out from the makeshift shelters, and walking among them, soaked to the bone, is Anakin Skywalker. He does not bark orders. He offers his hand. A child clings to her mother, crying. Anakin kneels beside them, offering food from his ration pack.
You're safe now. We're not going anywhere.
Behind him, Clone Captain Rex leads troopers in clearing rubble to reach trapped civilians. At Anakin's insistence, medics tend to wounded non-combatants before dismantling their encampments. But as they take their positions, fighters scream overhead as hyena bombers, escorted by vulture droids, come rushing in. The villagers scream once again, but Anakin is already moving to help them. He deflects blaster fire from their attacks as Rex and his troops shoot down the fighters. However, despite their best efforts, the clones can't take them all down, and the bombers unleash their payloads. Thinking quickly, Anakin raises his hands out and catches the bombs in midair and detonates them. The explosion scatters the fighters and throws their formation into chaos. This allows the clones to pick them off. But as the remaining fighters make their escape, Anakin notes that the droids have no ships in the area, so they must have a supply depot somewhere. The villagers immediately offer their aid as guides, having seen how helpful Anakin was, leading them to destroy a critical supply center. Word spreads quickly. Skywalker doesn't just win, he protects. To his troops, he is a beacon. To the displaced, a protector. To the Council, an anomaly. The High Jedi Council is silent as Master Kit Fisto finishes his recommendation. Anakin stands beside him, posture relaxed, but eyes firm, calm, despite the scrutiny.
Skywalker has grown. He leads without cruelty, fights without hatred, guides others with compassion. He is what we ask every knight to become. This is why I request he be made a Jedi Master. He defies orders, questions our authority. He acts without council permission.
And he wins. Not just the battles, but the hearts and minds of the people.
I agree. Above all else, Anakin serves the people. Isn't that the point of being a Jedi? There's tension, debate, but the outcome is inevitable now. Anakin Skywalker is granted the rank of Jedi Master. The accolade should bring peace, but instead it brings clarity. Anakin's position as a master does not soften his critique. Now, with access to more information and a seat at the table to listen to some of their politics, he sees just how far the Jedi have strayed from their path. Kit Fisto wasn't exaggerating when he said that they seek to dam the Force to control it. He sees how the Jedi build their strategy not based on the protection of civilians, but on serving the whims of the Senate. All of this raises issues. He questions military strategy. He asks why Jedi are generals instead of healers. He quotes Qui-Gon Jinn in sessions, arguing the living Force must guide them, not bureaucrats and warmongers. That is the only way to achieve victory. When Mace reminds him that they rely on clone intelligence, Anakin counters that they never use that for victory. Younglings gather around him between missions, learning not just lightsaber techniques, but how to feel without fear. They laugh with him. They trust him. Even some masters begin to listen to him. Firebrands like Quinlan Voss and humanists like Plo Koon. He becomes, quietly, something more than the Council's weapon. He becomes a symbol. And the Council doesn't know what to do with him. They try to send him back to the front lines to keep him from gaining influence, but the seed is already planted. Though Anakin might be gone, his acolytes soon begin questioning the Jedi more seriously. They wonder why they are involved in the war, and question whether the Republic is truly the good guys in this war. The Jedi Council decides they need a victory and hatches a plan. The most intense fighting is in Umbra, where Anakin and the 501st are posted. The Jedi decide to recall Anakin back to the capital and replace him with one of their more respected Jedi generals, Pong Krell. Unlike the others, General Krell has never openly questioned the Jedi Council, but has a reputation for winning unwinnable battles. So they replace Anakin with him in hopes of shoring up the Jedi's reputation with a major victory. Anakin is confused by the orders, but decides to obey and flies off, leaving the clones alone. When he returns to Coruscant, the Jedi Order has a new mission for him.
I understand you've managed to strike up friendly ties with the native Felucians, young Skywalker. That is correct. Good, because we may need their service for an upcoming mission. It appears the CIS presence on the planet has flared up once again, and that is due to the presence of one general. We wish for you to assassinate him and all his officers with the help of the natives.
Anakin looks at the file and frowns. He recognizes the commander, Murray of Mon Calamari. He has a reputation for cunning, but also honor and bravery. Taking him out would be a huge success for the Jedi, but how they are suggesting this bothers him.
You want me to act like an assassin? Like Ventress or Dirge? Give me an army and I'll gladly take Murray on, but I'm not someone who skulks in the shadows. We do not have an army to spare, young one. Besides, the presence of troops might spook him and get him to flee. We prefer to handle this discreetly. You mean cowardly? You want the Jedi to play as assassins next. This is war, Skywalker. So it seems our values can be forgotten once they stop being convenient. You are dismissed, Skywalker.
There's no formal punishment, no exile, but this meaning is clear. The room turns cold. His voice is unheard. His conviction. Soft golden light spills across the floor as Anakin enters the Chancellor's private chambers. Palpatine stands at the window, gazing out at the city planet in the growing dusk.
I heard about the Council. They never did appreciate independent thinking.
They gave me nothing. Not even a real explanation. Only that they decide to serve the war effort.
Ah, yes. All for the good of the war. It seems so against the Jedi, and understand what they stand for.
Palpatine nods slowly, then gestures to a council nearby. A hologram flares to life. Tactical maps, distress signals, casualty reports. Umbara.
They reassigned you from the 501st, and this is the result.
Anakin's eyes scan the data. Casualties spiking, units mismanaged, entire platoons gone missing. It's a disaster. At first, he tries to review the battle plan. He crafted a strategy specifically to reduce casualties.
They sent General Krell in your place. Your men are suffering.
I can't leave Coruscant. Jedi Council orders.
You may, with my orders.
Palpatine smiles. Smoke coils low over the jagged terrain of Umbara. Blaster fire echoes in the distance like distant thunder. Anakin descends from a gunship, boots crunching against the glassy surface. The air is thick with the acrid scent of war. Rex waits for him at the perimeter, helmet tucked under his arm. He's the only one who knows about Anakin's arrival.
General, didn't think we'd see you again.
What happened, Rex?
General Krell's been off, sending us into traps, turning us against each other. He lied about enemy positions, forced us to fire on our own.
Anakin looks out toward the horizon. The fog doesn't just conceal the enemy, it hides something deeper, something wrong.
I sense him.
The massive trees of the Umbaran jungle provide all the cover Krell needs. He disappears into the foliage, leaving the clones struggling to search. But Anakin moves through the forest slowly, eyes half closed, feeling more than seeing. He isn't hunting Krell. He's listening to the Force in the way Kit Fisto taught him. The wind changes, a breath, a whisper. It is like a flow he can sense in the current. Krell lunges from the darkness, sabers ignited with a snarl of light. But Anakin is ready. He turns, blade already lit, and sidesteps the attack. Krell's momentum carries him forward, right into Anakin's grip. He shoves the hulking alien back as he readies his lightsaber. Anakin intercepts each attack, dodging the strikes and then pushing them back. Krell snarls as the dark side bursts out from him and nearly sends Anakin skidding. He catches himself and avoids the crisscross lightsaber strikes. He twists, using the Force to wrench both sabers from Krell's hands and pins him to the ground with a wave of pressure. Krell growls, seething with contempt.
Come to pass judgment, another pawn of the council.
No. I came to understand why a Jedi would betray his brothers.
Krell's eyes glint. He smiles, and there's no sanity in it.
I've seen the future. The Jedi fall. The Republic dies with them. You think you're fighting a war to save it. You're just making it easier to destroy.
We shall see.
Kit Fisto's words echo in his mind, like a breath of clarity.
Let pain guide you, but never let it define you.
He closes his eyes and begins to tap Krell's forehead, searching for these ideas. He wants to see these visions for himself and how he came about them. And then, Anakin tenses as he feels the vision flowing through Krell and into him. His eyes widen at the sight that greets him. The Jedi Temple is burning and facing the marching boots of thousands of clone troopers. The Jedi struggle to defend themselves, being driven back as they are cut down one by one. It shifts, and then they see the Senate cheering as Palpatine, now badly deformed, declares an empire. And then as a masked figure in black armor marches through a burning world, he ignites a blood-red lightsaber. That should be enough for most Jedi, but there is more to these dreams than just the images. Anakin searches for the emotions underneath. He can sense Krell's fear and anger at the clones, but there is something else. Ambition, doubt, all planted there by someone. Instead of letting him go, Anakin continues to ride on to follow the current of the Force, moving against it to reach the source of its flow. And then he finds himself looking at a hooded figure, one wearing the same cloak Palpatine did, who has the same presence as him. Anakin recoils and stumbles back. He clutches his head as Rex steadies him and helps him to his feet.
General, what did you see?
Rex, I have to get back to Coruscant. Krell, he's all yours.
The sky above the temple burns orange with fading light as Anakin's starfighter descends, its metal frame still humming from the long journey home. He disembarks quickly, cloak whipping behind him in the wind. The usual calm of the temple grounds feels sharpened, like eyes following him. Whispers ripple behind him. He can sense it all. Master Kit Fisto waits at the edge of the platform, arms crossed, leg twitching with tension. He doesn't smile.
They're looking for you, Anakin. The Council. They know you went to Umbara without approval. I found something, kid. Something the Council needs to hear. But not in public.
Fisto hesitates. Then he nods, quietly gesturing for Anakin to follow. Kid Fisto, Quinlan Voss, and Plo Koon sit across from Anakin in a private chamber, deep within the temple's older levels. The energy here is still and ancient. Even the walls seem to listen.
Umbara was a disaster because Krell was already lost. He had visions of the Jedi falling, of the war ending in darkness.
Visions, however disturbing, are not uncommon.
But he said someone showed them to him. Someone inside the Republic. A shadow hiding in plain sight.
You're suggesting a Sith? The one Obi-Wan was talking about?
Yes. I'm saying it's Palpatine.
That's a dangerous accusation.
It's not an accusation. It's the Force. I went against its current. I found him. A cloaked figure with Palpatine's presence. He didn't speak, but the Force screamed around him. It was him. I know it.
If what you say is true, then action must be taken. Quietly. If he truly is what you suspect, sounding the alarm could doom us all.
Kid Fisto and Voss exchange a glance, then nod.
Are you suggesting... Don't think we didn't learn anything from you, young one.
Palpatine's office is dark. The windows look out over the sleeping city, as if nothing beneath them is about to change. But the stillness here is thick, coiled like a snake beneath the floorboards. And yet, he smiles as he hears of their approach.
I see the Council has sent more than words this time, including you, young Skywalker. How predictable.
No more lies. It ends here, Chancellor.
Palpatine's expression curdles into something inhuman. In a single movement, he casts aside his cloak. A crimson blade comes to life. Kit Fisto and Voss move first, blades meeting his in a storm of sparks. The Chancellor sweeps his weapon around in a fury of strikes, the air searing as his lightsaber crackles. Yet the two ignore it and defend themselves. Plo Koon supports from the side, using wide, controlled sweeps to hurt Palpatine back and try to press forward. Anakin hasn't ignited his lightsaber yet. He watches, feels. He watches as Palpatine swings his weapon and forces them back with movements far too fast to be human. Every movement calculated, fueled by something older than rage. The dark side pours off him like poison. It flows out like a tidal wave, forcing them back. Fisto parries a deadly lunge, but takes a slash to the side. He staggers back, but Voss catches the next strike, locking sabers with the Sith Lord, but then throws the wild Jedi back. Plo Koon channels the Force into a blast of kinetic energy, slamming Palpatine into the far wall. The Dark Lord rebounds, cloak smoldering, but slowing. He counters with lightning that throws the old Jedi back. He falls to his knees as the others struggle to attack. That's when Anakin steps forward. Palpatine turns to him, a trickle of blood at his lip.
You could rule, Anakin. You've seen it. You've felt what they never will. Why waste yourself for the weak?
Anakin looks at his allies. Kit, wounded but standing firm. Voss, exhausted but resolved. And Plo Koon, silent and steady as always.
I've seen enough. Then I'm not alone anymore.
With a roar, Anakin joins the others. Palpatine catches his lightsaber, but it sends a shockwave across the room that leaves them all shaking as the glass shatters. This time, it is Palpatine who staggers and looks up in surprise. However, Anakin is already moving, coming at him again and again. His lightsaber moves within human speed, guided by the Force that floods out of Anakin like a current, washing away the darkness that Palpatine uses to shield himself. The four Jedi drive Palpatine back and rejoin the effort, coming from all sides. Palpatine tries to defend, but is overwhelmed. Kit Fisto strikes, cuts his saber hand. Voss slams him to the floor with a wave of the Force, and Plo blasts him with Force judgment. Anakin pins him there, saber at his throat. The silence afterwards is immense. Palpatine wheezes as he drives it in. After this, the news is shocking, and many cannot believe it. The Senate requires some convincing, and nearly convicts the four as traitors. But they see the security footage, and the evidence is undeniable. The Jedi are equally shocked, but Anakin does not let them off so easily. He reaches out to them and challenges their rule, citing their mistakes in allowing Palpatine to rise, and Krell to wreak such chaos. A bloodless coup is staged, with many masters protesting in support of Anakin and forcing most of the Jedi Council to resign, and putting Anakin in their place. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them.
If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.